Hello, guys. Welcome back to this day's podcast. I'm gonna discuss a few topics. First off, the the press conference of Kevin Durant with the Golden State Warriors, where they introduce him to the team to everyone. Um, just a bit of my opinion about it and what I feel and what I've heard from that conference. So pretty much, it all started where when the GM pretty much introduced KD, what he thought about him, and all the process that Golden State had with Kevin Durant behind the scenes, and like I said, what he feels about him and how we think Kevin Durant is going to fit with the team. A bit of introduction. Then he addressed, I think, some questions to Kevin Durant, and then there were questions open to the press. So pretty much, all the first questions were pretty much, typical. I thought, the press were gonna, in at some point, dig up and ask, questions that are a bit difficult at this time. So they were pretty much typical until one reporter asked him if he felt guilty, which is pretty much somewhat problematic. Asking that, and I'm not sure what answer did he expect, but that was pretty much the only question that was sort of problematic, in my opinion. I didn't think they gave him a hard time because everybody did gave him a hard time. The fans, the media, especially Stephen A. Smith. He went on wax on that, and he gave his opinion. He was pretty much loud about it. Uh, so loud, and I mean, he was so bothered by that, even so much that he went from his home and went to talk about it. He had like a 20-minute video on YouTube that he talked about it and even talked to the fans and answered questions and that sort of stuff. And you could have seen how much that decision have made an impact on the NBA and everybody that follows the game. That was a pretty historic decision by KD. So KD talked about how he felt so comfortable with this group of guys, with Iggy, with Steph, with Clay, with Draymond. If he said that he didn't even thought about them meeting him because, like everyone knows, they lost to the Cavs. The Golden State Warriors were 3-1 against the Cavs, and they choked whatever that was. The fact is that they were one win away from winning it all, and even coming back from a 3-1 lead, against the Thunder. So they were in both sides of that situation. One win away. They had like a 73, I think, 73-9 record, beating the Bulls record. They showed they're one of the best teams ever, going with the best teams ever. So they don't need him. The facts show that they achieved as much, that they're good, like they are right now. They lost pieces like Harrison Barnes and Andrew Bogut, but they more than can live with it. And when he said he was gonna meet Golden State, he didn't thought all these guys were gonna show up, but the fact is that everybody showed up. And he said when he saw them, he almost saw them holding hands as like a family that holds hand. That's That's how much he felt comfortable with him, and saw how much they like each other, and all that atmosphere about of more than basketball, just people being around each other and enjoying themselves. And there's the basketball aspect, but still, just people liking to be around each other is so the the atmosphere, the environment is so much. It's so peaceful, but more than that, it's fun. And I just felt him being comfortable and being peaceful about it. It looks like he came into that decision, and he's living with that decision, and he's made up with that decision, and he's 100% behind that decision, and he's not regretting everything, um, as much as how good that team that he left, and the fact that he's pretty much spent all his career there, and the ups and the downs. And they visited the Western Conference about like 4 times. They've been to the finals 1 time, lost to the Heat, and it's just the end of an era. You can see an end of an era for players like Dwayne Wade, LeBron. LeBron is all of that, 2003 draft, all of these players that went out from that draft, all that period. You see an era closing in, and even a player like KD is 27, but that's a crucial time where he just needed to make a decision for him to define the rest of his career. Everybody talks about great players like Karl Malone and all that stuff. They don't talk about these players as much. They were great as other players, maybe more, but just because they don't have a ring, that's just how it is. That these players are, being left out, I suppose, in some kind of way. So he made that decision, and you could have felt him sitting next to Steve Kerr. That he was like, I just felt like he's home. He just felt like he's found a home, and it just felt so good. And I'm super excited for him. I'm super happy. I genuinely like this dude. I liked him before. I like him now. I just think I really like high character people, and even the GM said that he didn't know Kevin before, and people sort of what they're. He said that people knew him, and sort of people know people in a general way because they know somewhat how they are, and they know what they're about, but you don't really get to know a person um, that well until you come up with him in a close some sort of close environments, that some kind of close interaction on a daily basis when that you have with him, that you can really get to know him more than know what is about and all that stuff. So he said that after pretty much spending I don't know, the last 3 days with him, he exceeded his expectations from KD. And yeah, like I said, I think he's a great dude, a great basketball player, a great man, and I'm really excited for him. Really excited and happy to see him, um, leaving his home in OKC, and it looks like he found a new home, and a home that he wants to play in. He enjoys the people there. Steph is a great dude. Clay is a nice dude. Draymond, he's a bit, so some sort of, he has some kind of spice in his um, personality, but he's a great dude. He lights up the room wherever he goes. So there is just Iggy as well. There's just a bunch of people. You saw them, clips on, planes celebrating and enjoying themselves, and just watching that, it brings a great feeling to anyone that watches it. Like I said again, and I'm gonna say it again and again, I'm happy for him. It seems like he found a home, and I'm really excited to see them just enjoying one in another, and getting us to see great basketball, and hopefully going all the way and winning a ring to that city, to that great fans, and of course getting a ring to that team, to that great organization. And it's so nice to see that group of people matching up with a great coach. Everybody knows, just looking at Steve Kerr, everybody knows he's doing the job good, and that he leads these great guys to he leads them just as good as it gets. Just I just love to see that personality just being used, and in that kind of level, him having that opportunity to lead these kind of guys. That's just a great match, and I'm just happy. And we'll see what happens. Next up, we got Dwayne Wade with his decision to is a surprising decision to leave the Heat, and he decided to join the Chicago Bulls. Everybody was shocked. Him and KD shook free agency, this year's free agency, with their decisions. Both of them are franchise players. Both of them are the face of the franchise in Miami and Oklahoma City. Both of them decided this summer that they're going to leave their team and go play for another team, find a new home, I suppose. In contrary to KD's decision, Wade's decision was a bit more troublesome because of how the relationship with the front office became at the end. At the end, and some will say at the period where LeBron played. What I mean when LeBron played is because Wade was the one that attracted LeBron to join the Heat in the first place. He attracted LeBron and Bosh because none of them would come to the Heat because uh, none of them would come there if it wasn't for him. That's obvious. But the thing is when LeBron left, everybody knows that that his decision to leave to the Cleveland is. I mean, it's understandable and it's somewhat legitimate, I suppose. But the Heat felt that LeBron left. They felt that Wade knew he was going to leave, and he somewhat left the organization, the Heat, and he didn't say all that he knew to the Heat. So there were some hard feelings about that, and more than that, in this free agency, the main goal of the Heat was to lock Hassan Whiteside. They really wanted to get this dude, and it's obvious why he's one of the best centers in the league. I still, I'm not 100% sold on him because I don't think, even at the age of 27, I don't think this dude is mature enough from what I saw in his personality. But still, he's a talent, and being 7 foot and doing the things that he does, that's just priceless, and it's priceless, but it also has a price tag, and they were willing to legitimately pay that price and get this dude to stay in Miami, which is absolutely a great decision. He's a big time player that is a free agent this year, and keeping him is just is a big deal. So they did all they could to lock him out. They locked him out, got him a max deal. Then after that, that's what stage one. Stage two was to clear cap to try to chase Kevin Durant, which is somewhat pointless because he wasn't going to sign there as much as he did wasn't going to sign in Boston or any other team he met. I'm not sure if he even met Miami. I have no idea. I don't think he wasn't gonna sign in Boston, and he sure isn't gonna wasn't gonna sign with the Heat. But the thing is they were trying to chase Kevin Durant, and they somewhat forgot about Wade. All these years, Wade took a pay cut to play with LeBron, with just thinking about the organization like every other big player, every other franchise player that actually cares about winning, like Dirk, like Tim Duncan. These are one of the game's greatest players that actually cares about the game and are loyal to their organization, and they're willing to do whatever it takes up front, because behind the scenes they might get compensated. There's a lot of, like I said last video, there's a lot of way to compensate and get a player's money in other ways. But up front, what people see is that he takes a pay cut. More than money, that's things of respect, um, that people see actually that he takes less money, so that there's that. So that's what Dwayne Wade did, like any other big time player, not just big time player. There's all time great player. And the thing is that when he was in his prime, he took these pay cuts and he thought he was gonna the the team was gonna handle him right, like the Lakers handled Kobe Bryant. He got his money on his last years, and they sort of cruised with him to the end of his career, and it was beautiful to see. Especially the last year, where this year, his last season, where he sort of visited all that teams, and that was his farewell game. Every game was big time, because that was the last time you're going to see Kobe Bryant in that arena playing for the Los Angeles Lakers in the NBA. So that was big time. So what he thought is, okay, we're not gonna contend right now. Our team, we lost Joe Johnson, Luol Deng. Who else we lost? We lost big pieces. We're not gonna contend for nothing. We got Hassan Whiteside, which is great, but still, we got the cat. We're not doing anything. So how about now? What? How about that? I'm gonna get some money right now. Why not? I mean, how about you, the organization, taking care of me now like you should? Because I'm sure they talked about it that now I'm going to get take a pay cut, but after that you're going to take care of me, and you're going to give me that money that I deserve. uh, when there's that opportunity, like right now, I mean, in the end of his career. More than that, Wade last year showed he actually produced. Maybe the Heat doesn't think that he's worth that money at this stage of his career, at the age of 34, but still that dude performed. He just he brought his game, and he performed, and just stating that fact, this dude should get paid. And what actually happened is they negotiated after, I think that after they tried to pointlessly try to pursue Kevin Durant and didn't, obviously. So after that they sat down and they gave him a ridiculous offer. Any offer that is not max money in today's um, cap space that has risen is ridiculous, because this dude is one of the best two-way guards in the league. Maybe, I don't know, top three, top four, top five, whatever shooting guards, and there's a demand for good shooting guards. So this dude, he brought his game, just stating the fact that all the pay cuts that he got, that he took, and all that stuff, he should get paid. Miami didn't give him the money that he should have. I think it was a matter of like maybe a 6 million a year, which is money. This dude lost some money, just thinking about the team and wanting it to win and all that stuff. And now the team is just backstabbing him. They're just like, they're just mistreating their face of the franchise. That Dwayne Wade is the Miami Heat. Dwayne Wade is Miami, and like people say, these days, because the Miami Dolphins, football in Florida is pretty big, but they weren't that successful. And you have, the basketball in Florida is less popular than football, but still, Miami went to the NBA Finals and they got championships. So that sort of interest sort of shifted and was more focused about basketball naturally because the team was successful. They got LeBron, they got Bosh, they got big names, and they got like two championships with him. And don't forget about the championships, that the championship in 2006, the way the sort of I'd say that sort of brought single-handedly Shaquille. He was in his end of his career, and you had guys like no names, Jason Williams, Walker, dudes that were they were at the very late stages of their career. So you just thought that a dude like him would be treated like he should from a team like that. And everybody knows the Heat is a first class organization, but from what we saw now, they're not. And they should be condemned for it. And for any free agent or any player that comes up to that team, we should take into consideration that. And I just hope that I mean, I don't hope, I know they will pay for it and in the future for mistreating him in any other ways. Like I said, players coming up there, knowing that what they did to Wade, they will decide accordingly in all kinds of ways. I don't know, um, but still, handling like that, you're a franchise player, it's sad. It's sad just seeing that from a team like that is supposedly a first class organization. That's just sad. And what happened is that Wade just said, "Okay, I'm tired. I want to be in the Heat for life. I want to retire here, but I just can't take more pay cuts. That is just ridiculous. I know you locked up Hassan Whiteside. Okay, you tried to go to Kevin Durant, and which is pointless, but still okay. Now what about me? He waited so much, and they made him like an offer, which is it's BS. So it said, okay, I want to be here, but what about, I want to be loyal, but what about the loyalty you need to show from me? What about your loyalty to me? What about all the things that we talked about? What about all the pay cuts that I got that made this franchise what it is? Wayne Wade is the best player of the Heat franchise ever. What about it? I want to be here, but I'm just tired. I'm just tired of the BS, and you just don't take me serious. So let's just end it right now. And what he did is just he got two deals, I think, two serious deals, I think, um, from the Nuggets and the Bulls. And the Nuggets were gonna the Nuggets offered max money for him, but the Nuggets is just, it's not a fit for him. He's not looking. He just doesn't have anything to look for in Denver. But Chicago is his hometown. He just got a house there, I think, last year, a really nice home, and this is his hometown. He grew up, from what I know, in Chicago. So going there is naturally, ending his career there will be great for him in his hometown. So he decided to take the deal and actually get the money that he deserves. He got a 2 year deal, about I think 50 million with a player option. So So let's see, according to how he performs this year, is gonna maybe decide to opt out and get even more money with the cap, where when the cap, uh, has risen again, will rise again. So he has an option for that. So he's pretty set in that way. And the lineup for the Bulls is not ideal, but the thing is just is there there's a team there's a team that is gonna show up for next year. That's the big thing. If you want to dive deeper about how there's no shooting in that lineup and how Jimmy is not that much of a shooter, a great shooter, and how Rondo is sort of a bad shooter, never was a shooter. He is an improved shooter, but still, that's not his game. Wade, that was not his game. That's not his game. Jimmy, not much of a shooter. So yeah, that's a problem. Of course, it's not a good fit with all that kind of players. But the big thing for Chicago, I think, because they lost Rose, they lost Noah, they lost Gasol. The thing is, for me, is just getting a team for next year. That's a big market team. Just getting something. They got Denzel Valentine, and just setting up a team for next season. Just see what happens. There's more than trying to get the best lineup. I mean, it doesn't fit, but just getting something to that city, instead of rebuilding from nothing from their draft. They got something now, and maybe they would show the respect and honor that Dwayne Wade should get from Miami. He's saying, I hope they would treat him good and he will leave as he should, like players like Kobe Bryant. I really hope that for him. And I'm glad about his decision. He shouldn't take BS from anyone at that stage of his career. And he just took him for granted. They just thought he was signed, and they said, "Yeah, we're not gonna give you a max. We're not gonna give you something like you should because he actually produced more than he is being 34." They didn't have to sign him for 4 years, 5 years, whatever. But the money wasn't right. The money wasn't as it should. Like I said, and I will say it like as much as needed for the situation. Solomon Hill got like 40, I think, average 4.2 points. There's no excuse for today's for a player like him not getting the money that he should. So I'm just glad for him. Glad for Chicago actually having something to show up for next season, and glad for KD. And we're going to see an interesting next season. And that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed. If you got something to ask, enlighten me, be sure to leave it in the comments. And a like from now and then would help. And see you guys next time.